Hello guys, let's talk about strategic partnership. You see, Africa and Russia relationship is very, very important. Both of us need each other. The Russians need Africa and Africans need Russia. But Africa need Russia more than Russia need Africa. But we both need each other. Let me explain something here. We have one common enemy. We have common interest. Our biggest enemy is the Western America. Both Russia and Africa, our common enemy is the Western America. Now, the Russians are fighting the Western America on the continent here for simple reason. Because the Western America is trying to destroy Russia, whilst Russia is trying to destroy the Western America. And the backbone of the Western America is Africa. So if the Russians are able to defeat the Western America on the continent or on this continent, which being Africa, then the Western America is defeated. Because the Western America built their economies at the expense of African economy, right? So strategically, if they're able to defeat the Western America in Africa, that is the end of the Western America, and Russia will be free. Russia wants to be free from threats from America and the West. And we all know that one can produce weapons, or a country's military will be powerful if they have a functioning economy. And the Western America, the heart of their economy is Africa. So Russia is trying to destroy the Western America economy and their military through Africa. And this is where Africa comes in. We have to be smart. We just have to take advantage of the hatred between the West, America, and Russia and become independent. This is what Africa is supposed to do. We should play smart games. The Wagner group is in Africa fighting. Simple, let them fight. They are not just fighting for us, they are also fighting for themselves. So we have to be smart and take advantage of great power politics. Let them fight on the continent. Simple. But this is why I say Africa, we are going to benefit more than the Russians. Because the Russians are superpowers. They have the military capability to defend themselves. But we Africans, we don't have. Right? So we are supposed to rely on the Russians. Right? Use the Russians to defeat our biggest enemy, being the Western America. Use the Russians to build our military. After building our military, then we cannot decouple from anybody. But as we stand now, we don't have the capability. As we stand now, we are weak. We are vulnerable. Neutrality is stupidity. We are not supposed to be neutral. Because the moment we become neutral, we are open. We are vulnerable. Anybody can come in and exploit us. So as at now, we are supposed to work with the Russians to defeat our biggest enemy. And our enemy is the Russians' enemy as well. So they are not just helping Africa, they are also helping themselves. Because they'll be free from threats. Now, both Africa and Russia, we are both threatened by the Western America. So we are supposed to work together, hand in hand, and defeat our biggest enemy. Sometimes people assume, they don't have facts. I keep saying this. They argue based on assumption. They claim that if Africa work with the Russians, they will come in and exploit us. Look, Russia is a commodity producing nation. They have a lot. They have resource. Africa relation with Russia is not mainly, economic. It is military, right? The Russians build their economies through hard work and not at the expense of we Africans. Listen to me. When the Russians' economy collapsed back in the 90s, they didn't come to Africa here to exploit any country. They were not even in Africa. When the economy collapsed, they went back to their country. After the collapse of the USSR, they went back to their country, focused on their country, built their country with their own resource, both mineral resource and human resource. This is what they used to build their country, and today they are back in this superpower race. Today they are superpowers without exploiting an African country, without partnering with us, without working with Africa. They became superpowers. The Western America, without Africa, they will never be superpowers. That is the difference. That is the difference. So when you tell me that the Russians will eventually become like the Western America, you are not being realistic. You are arguing based on emotions. You are arguing based on assumption. but not facts. Neutrality, as I said, is stupidity. When you are neutral, you are vulnerable. So Africa should end this neutrality madness and align ourselves and move forward. The Russians, as I said, they are not here to just help us. They are also here to help themselves. So we should just take advantage of them and play the smart game. Let us play smart game like Vietnam did. Vietnam took advantage of the hatred between the West America and Russia and used the Russians to defeat their biggest enemy, which is America. Then later, they used the Russians to build their military. And today, look at where they are. They are powerful. Another example is, China. I keep citing examples for you guys to understand what is happening around the world. Another example is China. The Chinese used, this communist system. They used the Soviets to defeat their biggest enemy, which is the Western America. After defeating the Western America, they relied on the Soviets, military to build their military. Russia shared their technology with China. This is nuclear technology. And today, China is one of the countries with nuclear weapons. You cannot threaten, China because they have what we call nuclear deterrence. They have nuclear weapons. So they can deter any country at all they want because they have nuclear weapons. So you cannot use your nuclear weapons to deter them because they also have nuclear weapons. And this is what Africa should do. Partner with the Russians strategically. Let them share their technology with us. Let them train our military men like Mozambique is doing, like Central African Republic, Mali, Burkina Faso, like what they are doing. The Wagner Group is training their men. They are sharing technology with them. And this is what we call strategic partnership. In the next 10, 15 years, Central African Republic, Mozambique, Angola, all these countries can become independent because they will have the military capability to become independent. But as we speak now, we don't have it. We don't have what it takes to fight anybody out there because we don't have weapons. We don't produce weapons. Do we? Hell no, we don't produce weapons. So we need another superpower who produce weapons to help us. And this is what I am advocating for Africa. Nobody is advocating that Africa should be colonized by another superpower. But in the process of Africa becoming independent, we have to be smart. We must be smart. We have to be strategic. It is not about coming out to make noise. Let us be free. We don't have to work with anybody. If you don't want to work with anybody, Africa is not an island. How do you expect our economies in Africa here to survive without working with anybody? Africa is not a country but a continent. You can't even export commodities from one country to another, even within the continent. And you tell me that we are not supposed to work with anybody. People talk, all we need to do is to unite. The West will never allow you to unite. Because the moment you unite, the Western America will collapse. So they won't allow you to unite in the first place. The Russians have no interest whether Africa will unite or not. They don't care because they don't rely on us. They rather feed us. They give us food. What exactly do we give the Russians? They have oil, which is one of the most important resources on earth. They have oil. I don't want to talk about other resources, but oil alone is even enough to make Russia a great country. Tell me one resource that Western America have that is so important to the world. They have nothing. America have to go to other countries and bombard their countries and steal their oil. In 1963, the Russians never opposed Africa unity. Listen to me. In 1963, the Western America successfully divided Africa into two. Our founding fathers, the Casablanca Group and the Moravia Group. Did the Russians interfere in Africa unity in 1963? Hell no. The Russians never interfered in Africa unity in 1963. They never interfered in Africa unity. And they have never interfered in Africa unity. Who keeps interfering in Africa unity is the Western America. Recently, Muhammad Gaddafi, who killed him? Did the Russians kill Muammar Gaddafi? Because Muammar Gaddafi was trying to unite Africa, who killed him? The same Western America. And you tell me that we shouldn't work with anybody. We shouldn't partner with anybody. We should be free and unite. It seems like some of you don't know your own history. It looks like some Africans don't understand geopolitics. They don't understand what is happening within the world or around the world. Africa will never unite without we partnering with another great superpower. And the only superpower we can partner with is the Russians. Some people are like, oh, let's fight our own fight. We don't need the Russians. What are you going to use and fight? Do you have weapons? Do you produce weapons? Hell no, we don't produce. So whether we want to fight alone or we want to partner, we still need weapons. And who is going to provide these weapons? We need skills. Who is going to train our military? We need another superpower out there who have military capabilities when it comes to, weapons provision, when it comes to skills. And the only people who will help Africa out there is the Russians. Africans, let's be smart and stop this neutrality. Let us be smart. Let's use this our goddamn brain. Let's use this. Let's partner with the Russians. After partnering with them, we build our military, then become independent. People keep on, referring to China that the Chinese did it. Who helped the Chinese to do it? Do you know how the Chinese did it? Who shared technology with the Chinese? Who helped them to build all this space and whatever they did? It's the Russians. And after Russia helped China, look at these Southeast Asian countries, Cambodia. Look at Vietnam. Look at Singapore. Who built all these countries? Is the Chinese. So we have to partner with this superpower strategically. Take advantage of them and build our human resource. In the next 20, 30 years, we can also stand on our own. That is exactly what the Chinese did. Sorry for this this interruption. Sorry. So it's simple. Just like what Kenya is doing. Kenya is working with the Chinese strategically. They're not just building railway lines in Kenya. Kenya is working with the Chinese to train their youth how to build these railway systems. So in the next 30 years, Kenya will have productive youth. They don't have to bring in the Chinese to work for them again because they have youth who will be productive. That is what we call strategic partnership. The Western America will never share their technology with us. Who built our space, whatever, for us in Africa? Well, Muammar Gaddafi said, why do we give so much money to, Europe and America? Especially Europe. Who built our space satellite for us? The Western America refused to build a satellite for us in Africa. Who built it? It's the Chinese. So in the process of becoming independent, we have to be smart. We have to work with some people who are willing. It's a win-win situation. What do you want from us? You tell us what you want from us. We also tell you what we want from you. The Chinese and the Russians don't have to like us. The most important thing is let us focus on our interest. Whether they are racist, whether they are... I don't give a damn whether they are racist or not. How many Russians do you see in Africa? Yes, because they built their country, they are comfortable in their country. So let us also focus on making Africa great, and let us stop this whole nonsense of some people claim that the Russians are racist. When Africans go there, they don't like us. Look, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn whether the Russians like us or not. The Europeans are the only people who kill 65 million of their population, but today they work together. Let us work together. Let us achieve our interest. Is the most important thing. The Chinese are here, they have their interest. The Russians have their own interest. And what is Africa's interest? People keep on saying the Russians and the Chinese have their interest. What the hell are you talking about? You think they are mad people? You want somebody to, take plane all the way from Europe to Africa without having an interest? You think they are stupid? You think they are mad? No purpose? They have purpose. They have interest. And what is our interest? That is the most important thing Africa should focus on. What is our interest on the continent? to let us focus on our interest. Our interest is to become independent. But in the process of becoming independent, we can't achieve it alone. We have to still partner with somebody, use the person, then later decouple from the person and become independent. We have to be smart. Thank you. Wait, before you go, guys, if you enjoyed this program, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, don't forget to like this video. Like the video, share it to friends and family. But the most important thing is to like the video. If you like the video, Facebook or YouTube will introduce you to a lot of people. Right? Thank you very much.